to be seen. When BDD got the Taliyah, however, Maple completely disappeared. So these two are the most important matchups of the game.
It's also probably the two most important champions to look out for. Yasuo, Taliyah, immediately both teams say, you know what, we're not dealing with either of them. Even throwing more mid-lane bans. Yasuo, Vladimir taken away, Taliyah and Zoe being banned up by the Flash Wolves.
Oh, Kingzone definitely remember that Yasuo pick from Hanabi. Hanabi, more like Hisaki.
Not going to be playing that one in the top lane, not going to be flexed into the mid lane. Who knows, could be a bottom lane pick at the moment. The meta is kind of crazy right now, but Skarna's the final ban coming out from Kingzone in the first ban phase. When you see what Flash Wolves take away next. Flash Wolves, this is a do or die game for them. LMS are currently 1-4. If they lose this match to Kingzone, LMS will not be able to make it to the immediate seed in the finals. They'll have to play through tomorrow's semifinals no matter what.
All the hopes riding on Flash Wolves right now. They've taken away two of the most common blind picks from Kingzone into the mid lane, the Zoe and the Taliyah. And I think the Fiddlesticks being taken away also signals them going for a more Bruiser-centric composition, which Fiddle counters very well.
Also denying three very strong pick champions, so trying to take away from Kingzone, making it sure if they want to play that pick composition, it would be difficult. Swain was the first pick that came out from Kingzone.
I like what they're doing here. Swain has been the most common ban pick champion so far, can play in all three lanes. And Rakan there with Flash Wolves is interesting because they could be trying to force them, Kingzone, to take away Azaya. I'm not sure you want to show your hand so early with this because it's possible to go to people into other compositions.
Well, it could just be as not a Xayah Rakan bottom lane,
yeah,
but a Mordekaiser Rakan bottom lane. Still, we've seen Mordekaiser played in different lanes around the world.
Yep.
We'll have to keep track, but should be a bottom lane pick for Betty. But it is Xayah Braum that gets locked in for Kingzone.
Kingzone still trying to play safe, and they have played the Xayah as a primary carry, meaning that she takes the smite and goes into the mid lane. So this Braum could be a Braum from BDD as well as the bot lane. Kingzone throwing a bit of flex themselves.
Yep. Could try and go towards a funnel composition.
Oh,
Don't you do it to me, Maple.
Do it.
Not after yesterday. My heart can't take it anymore, Clement. Another Talon being played here at Rift Rivals.
Maple has played the Talon before in his own region, and he's been brilliant on it. A very good assassin player, and the way they set it up is very different from Rogue Warriors. My biggest criticism of Rogue Warriors yesterday was that their moves were too easy to spot. There was no other CC outside on the map. But what Flash Wolves is setting up here is that they're going to have a lot of crowd control from Rakan. If Sword Art can roam around, then Talon can find picks anywhere else on the map.
Furthermore, that was a blind pick, not a blind pick, sorry, a counter pick coming out from Rogue Warriors yesterday. There were three tanky champions top side of map against an Ezreal Talon catch in the bottom lane. Doma was practically running into a brick wall with that Talon pick, but Kingzone yet to show their final two picks. Only the Xayah Braum being picked up with the Swain. Have to see how Flash Wolves use this assassin pick in their do or die match for Rift Rivals, betting out Morgana as well as Shen. Sejuani taken away by Kingzone.
Yeah, I really do like taking the Shen away from Kingzone. This has been a big flex pick. You can put it with Targons basically in the mid lane, and of course supports can pick it up as well. So, you know, good taking away the options from Kingzone. And Kindred is something we haven't seen from Muujin yet, but it's so strong on this patch, I wouldn't be surprised to see it in a Bruiser-focused comp.
We've seen Score play it quite a bit in the LCK.
Going for more engage on Flash Wolves, probably?
Let's see what they lock in, but they haven't decided what they decide to pick up in their first pick in the second rotation. Nocturne was the ban being thrown Muujin's way, but they go for Gragas. With Rakan already being picked up, that should either be a top lane or jungle Gragas.
Gragas with the recent buffs does give him a lot more survivability for his AP ratios. The cooldown on Drunken Rage being quite a bit lower.
You can now just make it a 1.1 if you want to.
Yeah, pretty much. And Khan not actually going for any of his counter picks here, going for the Mundo. This is something that we've seen from Kingzone drafts. Their most important member has typically been the jungle. Like the analyst was talking about, Nidalee, of course, a big pick for them, but it does look more like the gold funneling going on here with probably BDD in the mid lane.
Well, let's see. If they do lock in a support, that would be the case. Swain will go into the bottom lane. Be played by BDD, you'd expect.
They do want to run a kill lane with the Pyke, so most likely with the Swain into the bot side.
Swain bottom lane with Pyke. Then you have Xayah being played as a funnel.
Oh man.
With Dr. Mundo in the top lane. Are they going to do it, Clement?
Please do it. Please do it.
I'm okay with this pick as well.
Yeah, Darius is a fine counter pick. You can always count on winning out in the matchup. There's not much that Mundo can do. And if you take power away from Khan, that's just a, that's just a happy place for everyone.
But he goes for Gangplank instead into the top lane against Dr. Mundo. Mordekaiser Rakan in the bottom lane. Exhaust Ignite already picked up. With BDD playing Swain into the bottom lane with Gorilla Prey playing the mid lane. Xayah with Smite being funneled by Peanut.
Yep, and in this composition, the most important thing is keeping your side lanes alive. So you either pick side lanes that can be completely isolated or have very strong kill potential, because you're not going to get any jungle ganks. Your jungle is now a Xayah or a Braum. So there's not a lot of side lane action for Kingzone side. They want to sit back a little bit, make sure their side lanes don't completely fall apart. While Flash Wolves, they have a Talon that can create a lot of action. So it's about who can reach the side lanes first.
That's a Talon who's currently running Smite as well, Clement.
Yeah. Oh,
Why
yeah.
does he have Smite, Clement?
This is the new evolution of the gold funneling composition. People have realized that, hey, we don't need to gold funnel with the support. We can do it with one person taking Smite himself. And the way you play it is you basically chain the Scuttle contest with the Raptor contest. It's going way back all the way to S3, baby, where you remember Froggen taking away all the camps on the map.
No.
This is in the same vein of that idea. And you can really snowball that mid laner very far ahead. We just saw a small sign there. Brothers from Taiwan, go ahead.
Let's see if the Flash Wolves can help out LMS in this match, because they need to win. They have to.
For the region.
If Kingzone can pick up their first win of the tournament, because this is the first time we're going to see the #1 seed from the LCK, that would make sure that the LMS have to play in tomorrow's semi-final match to make it into the finals, and also puts the LCK one step further into guaranteeing that final spot.
Flash Wolves definitely burdening most of the heavy lifting of the region so far. You know, it used to be HQ and Flash Wolves, G-Rex and Flash Wolves, but this split, it's one team and one team only. They're our last hope.
3-0 currently in the summer split, did fantastically during spring split, and represented the LMS at MSI. Kingzone as well, all the way to the MSI finals. This is going to be a bloody matchup. We're going to get onto the Rift for the second match of today. Once again, Clement, there's no cohesion in this arena. Everyone's just cheering for their teams at the exact same time. No turn taking, no nonsense. Let's just have at it right away.
But you can definitely tell the crowd is behind the Flash Wolves. Another sign right there up for Sword Art.
Sword Art's just been around for so long as well. Lots of stories about this support play in the bottom lane for Flash Wolves, now being paired up with Betty. Going for that Rakan pick to help out Mordekaiser, who has been seeing more play recently. Oh, that's such a cute kitten. Sorry, distracted.
A cheeky little play coming out from Maple. There is a potential to take away the first Raptor camp. They are looking for that possibility, dropping a ward down there.
That was the play, moving in, put the ward close to the Raptor camp. As you'd expect, Prey and Peanut are going to be starting in the jungle together, even getting a slight leash from BD as well as Gorilla. So tell me, how does this work for Kingzone? They're running into a final composition. Hello, Maple. Ooh. He wants these. Ooh. Okay, he's going to be able to get 4 for himself. Nice move by Khan, though. He's able to steal 1. Maple does pick up the camp, though, to start the match.
Well, this is pretty much what we see in High Korean Challenger right now. You take the camp, which spawns very early on, and then you go back into lane. You don't lose any minions, and this has been tried with every mid laner that has an AoE. Azir, Karthus, you name it. Basically, if you have crowd control early and you have the smite, you take away the Raptors, and you try to do that repeatedly. The big point of the match for Kingzone right now is the bot lane still. The bot lane is a very heavy kill lane for both sides, but Flash Wolves do have the advantage of the early Gragas ganks. I don't expect Peanut or Prey to be in any of the side lanes early on.
No, because it feels like they're going to be sitting back and farming up as much as possible. Already Prey as well as Peanut moving towards the Scuttle Crab on the top side of the map, checking in with the bottom lane. Betty chunked out slightly. Good moves coming out from BDD as well as Gorilla.
Oh, And just look at that crowd predict right there. 60% going in Flash Wolves' favor. Of course, their record against Kingzone at MSI has not been terrific. They were 2 for 4, and it went in Kingzone's favor. But I think Mugen already has the memo on how to play out this composition, already moving into the bot side.
Just waiting for the minions to pass through that little bit of fog of war. They will spot out Krugs. It will spot out Krugs, but Gragas does not appear on the mini-map there.
That's
so
good to point out.
Unless they were watching, they would not know that Mugen is there right now.
They do have a lot of crowd control. It's definitely possible for an early kill. Ignite on Sword Art as well.
You already said that this is a kill lane. I mean, Exhaust Ignite for the side of Flash Wolves. They already used the Exhaust. Betty taking another turret shot. BDD trying to go forward. Muji's going to try and join the fight. Ignite is ticking on Gorilla. He does get back into Fog of War, regenerates his health, and stays alive.
Yep, so overall, actually, Flash Wolves expended a bit more in that engagement. 4 summoners blown from Flash Wolves, so the kill lane strategy not going very well.
Summoners being burnt. Mugen going for a gank in the bottom lane, even using his own flash there, not able to pick up the kill. Gorilla escapes. BDD holds on to both of his summoner spells.
The big question here is Flash Wolves still going to get that experience edge onto the Mordekaiser? Because usually what you want to see with this lane is hitting level 6 first and moving that into a first strike. If you're forced out of lane early, does that still apply?
Oh, he's going to move straight back into the bottom lane. BDD has his own teleport, so can recall whenever he likes. Maple has been kept occupied in this mid lane, however, because Spray, as well as Peanut, just been rotating around the map, picking up jungle camp after jungle camp. It seems like Maple's trying to do the same thing, leaping over terrain, clearing out Raptors whenever he can. But what is Maple looking for, besides farming up the Storm, besides being a nice assassin in the late game? It seems like he's going to be stuck in the mid lane for most of this match because of how Prey and Peanut are playing the game.
Well, in terms of this matchup, you actually scale a lot harder than the ADC in terms of early game. You're an assassin, skill level means a lot, level ups mean a lot more to you, and if you get the same farm, you can actually kill. Whoa, the Braum going into the
bottom lane though. Betsy gets
summoners.
pulled back. Sword Art tries to jump forward, but doesn't get any knock up there. Kingzone just going aggressive against Betty. Nice shield there. Mugen's going to join the fight as well. Peanut with that very early gank. 3-on-3. Sword Art going to lead the charge, but they pull back Mugen. Mugen low. First kill goes to Flash Wolf. He's still alive, Clement. The Scuba Diver's going deep. Going to be able to pick up another one. Gorilla falls. Only BDD alive for Kingzone.
The Iron Man coming up big from Betty right there, keeping his shielding alive again and again. Hitting targets with your ability does give you shields right there, and Mugen somehow able to stay alive with Happy Hour as well, completely flipping the script. That's the problem when you run a gold funnel composition. Your support typically isn't that useful in those ganks.
Peanut going for the gank in the bottom lane, something we said we didn't expect to happen. We expected Prey as well as Peanut to just rotate and farm. Moves in, Mugen's able to shadow, and Flash Wolves play it well. Sword Art even missing the knock-up, but they're still able to turn it around.
And that's why you don't see it happen. You don't have the combat summoner smite. You're going in with the Targons. Like, what do you expect to really do there? I think the idea was actually solid on Kingzone in that roam. There was no summoners in Flash Wolves' part, but Flash Wolves did outplay that. Betty keeping very calm and composed, stepping away as far as possible, and then getting the triple E onto people, regenerating his shield.
That was without summoner spells for Flash Wolves as well. Started with this. Pulling back Betsy, Gorilla not able to get the knock-up he was looking for. Sorry, Sword Art.
Oh, just look at how much HP he gets back, how much shielding he's able to put on. Ooh. There was no Ignite to be used right there, so Betty able to heal up quite a lot of HP, and I just want to see how Mugen actually survives this. Does get the Happy Hour.
And the Triumph. Making sure he stays alive. They're able to kill Gorilla off the back half of this fight as well. Betty and Sword Art stay alive.
You can just see the jubilance from Sword Art, knowing that that was a massive outplay. This is going to give them the extra level advantage to snowball into the Drake.
That's what they were looking for, a big fight in the bottom lane. They burnt all their summoner spells, including Gragas's in the earlier engage, but they return, counter the gank from Peanut, able to pick up the kill. The funnel composition is still going okay for Kingzone. 90 CS on Xayah right now. We haven't seen that disrupted in any way. We haven't been able to check in with the top side of the map either. Khan's actually being pushed in underneath his turret by this gameplay. Flash Wolves do rotate to try and take their first elemental dragon of the match.
And we can see Flash Wolves right here, known as the Korean Killers, 8 and 9 overall in the international tournaments. That's probably the highest score of any team in the world. Like, LMS, they have a horrible record against the LPL, but somehow against Korea, they actually have a 40-something win rate.
So if they're able to get the win here, theoretically, against Kingzone, that would tie up the international score 9-9.
Oh yeah.
See if they can do it.
If you're talking about a BO1 against a Korean team, there's only one team you want, and that's Flash Wolves.
Well, it's do or die for LMS. We already talked about it. A win here keeps them alive for the finals run. But if they lose this match, they can no longer make it into the direct final seed. They would have to play through the semifinals tomorrow.
We're seeing a potential 4v3 dive into the bottom lane. Talon and Gragas already getting over here.
Dragon's going to expire as well. Slowly Peanut's going to rotate down, try to help defend this turret. So they chip away at the bottom lane outer turret. Flash Wolf still holding on to a 1,000 gold lead. Sorta going to get pulled back and ripped back by BDD, but jumps away. Does it get hit by Winter's Bite?
Does have to use the grand entrance, but not much really lost right there. And this does give Maple even more time to farm up. Usually we don't see the Tiamat built on Talons, but if you're playing this type of style, everything is about taking away jungle farm from the enemy team. A lot of this is centered around countering the funnel compositions. You do have the clear speed to take care of your own jungle, and you can always consistently take away their Raptor camp as well. They cannot contest the 2v2.
Which means that Prey can't farm up as much, and on top of that, Maple tries to stay a little bit closer to the farm that's picked up by Xayah. But how do Flash Wolves actually win? What do they have to do to take down Kingzone?
So in this type of composition, I would say snowballing off of the bot lane is very important.
Nothing's happening, Clement, don't worry. Betty and Sword are just happily tanking turret shots.
Yep, using the battle dance and then the grand entrance to go in and out.
But you're telling me, how do Flash Wolves win this?
So for Flash Wolves, of course, this is a very snowball-y type of compositions, but they do have the damage threat advantage over Kingzone. They're not afraid to go late game against this composition. It's actually going to be very hard for the Swain and Mundo to do anything because they're going to be walking into a game-playing barrel minefield, basically. They have the Rakan to go against the Bruisers as well. So Flash Wolves have multiple ways to actually win the game. I think what they should do next is snowball the side lanes with the Talon advantage, try to group up and fight the 2v2. They do have the power at this point. Once Talon reaches his first lethality items, he can one-shot the Xayah. He can one-shot the Prey. So if they get that 2v2 down out on the first item, snowball, and even in late games, I still think they have the edge.
Because there's not much protection for Prey. He has the ultimate available on his Xayah. But the only support he has in this match is going to be Braum. Right? More of a damage-dealing support. Provide some crowd control, some threat. That's about it. No shielding, no healing.
This is the big problem that people have discovered with the gold bundling comps in general. In the super late game, you are running 2 supports, and a lot of those times, the utility is not worth the combat stats that you're giving up. So the next natural evolution is the smite onto junglers.
Oh, Maple's been able to find Peanut wandering inside of his own jungle. Gets him down to about half health. The rest of the Flash Wolves are trying to collapse as well. Prey, keep him occupied, trying to throw out as many feathers as possible. But Peanut does escape. No summoner spells burnt by either side.
I really love what Flash Wolves are doing here. They're trying to snowball off that first tower. The next Drake is going to be a Mountain Drake. Very important for a Bruiser composition once again. And you can see it's a map-wide movement. Hanabi coming down into the mid lane from the top and making sure that they overload the bot lane. Kingzone can't hold.
Oh, Flash Wolves will be able to pick up the first turret of the match as well. All that gold goes to Betty. Solo gold being picked up by the Mordekaiser. Flash will start this match. The early game, 2,000 gold, 2,500 gold ahead of Kingzone. So if we were looking at Flash Wolves earlier, they need to try and disrupt the funnel comp. They're happy to go late game because they have the damage as well and get the side lane snowballing. They've already got the kills on Betty and Sword Art. They've got the bottom lane turret. For Kingzone, they're trying to get Prey farmed up. He's running the funnel composition, 170 CS almost, with the Braum support helping him out. What do they then do? How do Kingzone attack Flash Wolves or actually come back into this match? There's
actually a very narrow window for Kingzone to play with, and that's the item edge on Prey. They're giving him a lot more gold, and they're probably going to transfer it into the Storm Razors and the IE, and of course the Zeal item type of a build for the Xayah right here. But they do need to hit that item point where she's sitting one item ahead of all the rest of the carries on the map. And that's when they have to strike. They have to use that narrow window.
I haven't hit that just yet, still sitting on the upgraded Warriors enchantment. But Peanut might be caught out here, has to dash back. Swordart's gonna lock him down. Betty with the ultimate. Come to my team, Peanut. Let's fight against the rest. Prey throwing out the ultimate, and I'll be helping out with his own gangplank ultimate as well. But Flash Wolves find another pick.
Great pick by Flash Wolves right there. A bit of a nitpick, but if Mugen held on to his explosive cast a little while longer, I actually think they could have got 2 more kills. Maple in a bad place.
They're trying to collapse onto Maple. He uses his ultimate to disengage. Kingzone trying to punish him for taking Raptors, and that might just disrupt Kingzone from taking any further objectives besides the Rift Herald.
I'm actually surprised he still has his ultimate. Like, they didn't even need that damage to kill Peanut at that point.
First time they caught Peanut, he was able to jump to safety. Second time around, can't flash, can't exhaust, but Kingzone looking for a fight. Betty using the stopwatch, Swordart trying to make them back off. Demonic Ascension for BDD, looking to jump into this fight. Mugen exhausted as well. Peanut is low. Kingzone able to find 3 kills to start the fight. Maple going for a run around the rift, trying to disengage. No ultimate available for him.
Is the bone skewer gonna land?
Gonna try and collapse. Peanut trying to hit him with the Winter's Bite as well. Does have terrain to jump over still. BDD collapsing there. Throws out the vision. Maple running straight into Kingzone space. They're going to let him go for now. Khan working on the top lane out of turret. It's just a wild goose chase at the moment, Clank. Can Maple escape?
Oh, I think he's actually going to get out. That's
no
800
way.
Range every single jump.
He's trying to,
but
does
he gets
get
hit.
tagged. BDD going to try and rip him backwards. One more attack would stun him, but he gets over the wall. Can he get over the next one? Smite for hit points, not going to be enough. Peanut takes the kill.
I have to say that was a lot of time wasted. But good play on Maple there, but bad engage onto the Herald from Flash Wolves. They were missing a lot of key ultimates and still funneled themselves in. Khan coming in from the backside, already taking Hanabi to half health before he could join anything. And of course, the kill combination from Swain and Pike finally getting its uses this game.
I was wrong. I said that disrupting Talon at Raptors might mean that Flash Wolves can't take anything besides the Rift Herald. Seems like disrupting Maple at Raptors means that Flash Wolves can't take anything, period. Kingzone find the team fight, they get the kills they wanted, and Rift Herald still stands. It wasn't picked up by Flash Wolves, brings the gold lead slightly back. But Flash Wolves still lead, and they're looking to try and pick up this Mountain Dragon.
Yep. They will have the drop onto Kingzone thanks to how much time Maple actually wasted away. And they're going to use the next Drake, preferably to push down the mid lane. Once you do that, it's much easier to get in the jungle and take away farm from the primary carry of Prey.
Oh, here's a replay of that last fight. Kings are able to find the picks onto Flash Wolves trying to take this Rift Herald.
Yep, there's only one ultimate here on the side of Flash Wolves, and Swordart needed to jump away from the fight fairly early on. Khan in this situation is just having a field day. He's been throwing infected cleavers on Gameplank the entire way here. Another engage.
Braum throws out the ultimate. Prey going to use his offensively. Doesn't lock anyone down. Maple looking for a fight. BDD pulls back Swordart. Great disengage from Mugen. Might have kept him alive. Swordart escapes, but both teams are going to disengage.
And this is what I was talking about Flash Wolves' composition. If you think about the late game, it's actually very difficult for Kingzone to walk up. It's going to take a lot of skilled play from Gorilla to get those bone skewers, or else they're not going to be able to engage on Flash Wolves.
Betty being a bit aggressive in the mid lane. Gorilla is waiting in Fog of War to see if he can get a gank going against the Mordekaiser, but nothing going to happen.
That's such a cheeky build path from Betty right there, actually going for the Proto Belt. Most of the time we see the Zanyas or even the Rylais for the catch-up, but going for the Proto Belt it's very unexpected.
He doesn't want to slow you down to get the final smack of his Q. He wants to jump straight on top of you when it's time for it. Bit of extra burst damage coming out for Betty as well. We saw earlier a stat that popped up. Kingzone currently 0-7 when they are behind at 15 minutes in the match. So it seems like a team that statistically at least relies on being able to get ahead early.
This is really exciting to watch because I think this is the first time this tournament that we're actually seeing a non-Korean team stay ahead of the meta. Like this game, the draft, the ideas behind countering the gold funneling comp, this is LMS actually outdrafting and having a better understanding of what is being played currently.
It's done well so far for the Flash Wolves. But this final composition isn't truly online just yet. If it is able to get online and surpass this early game, it's going to be difficult for Flash Wolves to deal with Prey, especially when they don't have any ranged champions in this match. theoretically, if they get the jump onto Prey, the only people to support him will be Peanut with his exhaust and all of Bronze utility, as well as Prey's flash and ultimate. So if they get the jump onto him, there's not too much to protect the Xayah. But if Xayah can kite around and run through these fights, it's just melee champions to work with. Great counterplay from Sword Art there, gets away from Gorilla Stun.
That was very close. He actually dodged it on two abilities right there. The Ghost Water, the Phantom Undertow, of course the Bone Skewer. A hair's breadth away.
Very close from pulling back Rakan. Throwing out another one, gets him over the wall, jumps back away though. He's nice and safe.
That has to be frustrating to watch. I feel bad for Kingzone watching that. Like, he outplayed Sword Art right there, but still not enough. Rakan, a very slippery champion.
And Sword Art's been playing well this match. 1-0-3 on Rakan, supported Betty well, played out the team fights fantastically, and the team fights that Flash Wolves were losing, he was able to disengage. Kingzone had a rough start to the match. They did a good job of burning all the summoner spells on the jungler as well as the bottom laners from Flash Wolves, but weren't able to capitalize on it and still fell behind 2-1 in a later gank that came out from Mugen, or a counter gank I should say. They have been getting Prey ahead, 262 CS, almost 90 ahead of Maple, who is running Smite. Talon is trying to get a CS lead by picking up jungle camps.
Yep, and that's what we have to pay attention to. I think once they hit that maybe 2-item spike, when they're one full item ahead, that's when Kingzone wants to leverage their primary carry. I think they're going to play very aggressively at the next Dragon.
They're going to have a big tank to deal with as well, because Khan has the Warmog's armor, as well as the Sunfire Cape and Ninja Tap. Gameplay, Talon not going to deal too much damage to this tank.
I feel if I'm Flash Wolves, my primary explosive cast target is going to have to be Khan. You need to take him out of the fight. There's no way to deal with him. No really healing reduction on Flash Wolves so far. So you're right, that's a very big concern coming out on Flash Wolves' side. And this next Dragon could see Kingzone try to leapfrog the edge.
Especially with that last fight, Hanabi was just being chased down by Khan. There's nothing Gangplank could do. Every barrel was just auto-attacked away. Constantly slowed by Infected Cleave as well. Couldn't set up for the fight or join the fight effectively. You're telling me during Champions League though that it's been a zero-sum game between BDD as well as Maple, but they haven't really been playing against each other in this matchup.
Unfortunately, this time it does not apply because they're not going up against each other. These two mid laners are so good they can snowball against each other incredibly hard. Flash Wolves going for a very early Baron setup at this point. They do have the Gangplank to really get barrels down here, but I think this is more a... This is a more try to get a pick. You can't explosive cast someone.
Oh, they look for the pick on the Prey! They got him! The AD carry! The Funnel King is dead! Kingzone lose Prey, joins the dark side of the Flash Wolves, and they're pushing for mid lane.
And they have a 6v4 right now. Prey will do a ton of damage. No sieging power, no problem.
BDD's trying to force a fight here. Demonic Ascension is ticking. Force the flash away. Flash Wolves will pile on in. Still backing away. Still over Mugen. Separates the team. Perfect timing for BDD, but not going to be enough. Jumping back in is Gorilla. Going to be taken down. 2 kills to the Flash Wolves. Kingzone lose 3 in that fight.
And that was so reminiscent of Kingzone versus RNG. Prey right there getting caught off guard. Still had his ultimate and his flash. Wasn't able to use any of it. Flash Wolf instantly piling on with Sword Art. The quickness going in. Finally getting the pick.
Now they're on to Baron. 4,000 gold lead for Flash Wolves. Only Khan is close to this pit. Prey is running as fast as he can, but he can't get there in time. Khan has to somehow steal this. He's very tanky, but he just doesn't have the damage at the moment.
I think he's gone in too far.
They get Baron. Stopwatch forced by Khan. Could be taken out, and Maple joins in as well. Prey is in this fight. Picks up 1 kill for himself. Tries to disengage, but killed again. Back to the respawn fountain. BDD sees everyone die and gets the heck out of there. Flash Wolves find 3 more.
Oh, wow, and that's 6 kills in total. Flash Wolves actually only lose Betty throughout all of that. Massive snowballing coming out. They knew that Kingzone did not have the power spike on their primary carry yet, so they went in, baited for the gate, baited for the engage, and found it on Prey once more. How come, Kingzone? Why is it every time the same play coming out from the enemy team that catches them off guard? They have to play safer. This has not been the first time we've seen this.
Sword Art is having an amazing game as well. That was a beautiful initiation coming out from the Flash Wolves support to catch Prey out in the mid lane. You said they were setting up for an early Baron. They had to find a pick. Flash Wolves did exactly that. They had all the damage in the world to follow up, and they got the ghost of a funneled AD carry to help them out in the subsequent fight, which Kingzone still tried to fight.
Yeah, Prey is still the main carry for Kingzone, and we've seen Flash Wolf play Mordekaiser against Uzi as well. This is their answer to how to end games with a purely bruiser combination. You just take away their primary carry, and you have someone to do the job for you. Flash Wolves recognizing the power spike of the enemy team, and then kind of doing a very unexpected play. Like, you don't think that they would have been able to do Baron. They didn't have the gameplay in position, and I think they caught Kingzone off guard.
You certainly have. Prey also not farming up the biggest of storms. Yes, ahead, but by only 85 CS at the moment. In fact, Khan 50 CS behind him, his top laner. Only has 2 items at the moment. QSS picked up with a single BF sword. Flash Wolves have a dragon. They've got a big wave in the bottom lane as well. Gorilla's been chunked out too. They're just marching into Kingzone's base.
And to add salt to the wound, they picked up double mountain drakes. There's no problem in really clearing. 8.12 took away the banners, but we still have a siege engine.
But in 8-11, we saw the turrets get hit by
Khan's
Massacre as well. Khan is not here. Prey forced to use the ultimate earlier. That's the AD carry you have to watch out for. If he falls, that could be Kingzone's hopes and dreams crushed. Flash Wolves get 1 kill. They kill Peanut. Mugen falls as well. 1 for 1 so far. They've got Betty. Betty pulled back in. Kingzone managed to get their top laner there in time. A double kill being picked up by BDD.
What is Maple trying to do?
Maple going back in. He's found him. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Assassination. Pike gets the return kill, but Kingzone keep the base alive.
A bit of over-aggression from Flash Wolves, I would say. They did take the inhibitor already. Probably wasn't a lot of reasons to go forward, but they saw the opportunity and they made a good try for it. Kingzone do answer back with a couple of kills on their own. Great play from BDD in that fight. He stayed alive early and he did find the never move onto the crucial targets of Betty. Let's watch. Sword Art did dive in onto Prey early. Prey able to jump away, and it was all about BDD in that fight. Zoning away Demon Ascension, has his Zhonya's up, takes down Mugen, and then does get the Bone Skewer onto Betty as well.
Perfect positioning coming out from BDD. Maple tries to turn this one around.
Oh, just look at that damage from Talon. 3 levels up. Also has the Dusk Blade for the extra true damage.
So Kingzone repel Flash Wolves, take away a lot of the Baron buff, and Baron buff has now expired as well. But in doing so, Flash Wolves were able to trade effectively in the fight, still losing 1 member more, but they took down bottom lane inhibitor turret, and inner turret, as well as a single Nexus turret. So another clean fight, if Flash Wolves can find one, because the last one was not clean. They could end the match. Kingzone still can rely on Prey. Now he has that QSS. When Sword Art went for the initiation, he was able to QSS immediately ultimate, get into invulnerability, and then try to fight.
But look at that item advantage. He doesn't really have a lead over Maple, and that's what you want as a primary carry. You want to be fighting 3 items versus 2. So I have to say this gold funneling strategy has been successfully countered by the Flash Wolves. The next Drake, I don't think Kingzone can contest it at all.
He has been sitting on these items for some time though,
that
after
is
the last fight, and slightly before that. So he could potentially be close to picking up. In fact, now Prey going back to base. Should be his Mercurial Scimitar being picked up here. It's cancelled, so he can't go back to base just yet. Watching BDD top side of the map, being pushed in by the Gangplank, looking to find an opportunity. Khan was split pushing during the fights that took place earlier, teleported in time. That's 3 very big tanky items for himself with his Ninja Tabby. Prey gets to go back to base, so that item's still not online for Kingzone.
A bit curious what Flash Wolves are trying to do here. They don't have any ranged champions that can actually take down the tower. Probably just, again, shifting, overloading to one side of the map and forcing Khan to perhaps walk into his trap right there. Doesn't happen, and everyone just backs out.
Now, I thought that was going to be a Mercurial Scimitar being picked up by Prey. Comment, it was straight up Infinity Edge.
Oh, he knows he needs the damage. He's the only one with the deeps on his team.
He's got 60% crit. Now he has some true damage as well, thanks to the Infinity Edge. If he can stay alive the way he did in that last fight, it will come back to bite Flash Wolves. But also, Flash Wolves able to take his Ghost. That could be what they need to actually just end the match. Maple trying to look for an assassination. Asta show on the bottom lane, clearing out this minion wave. Had super minions pushing on this side of the map. Baron's up in 1 minute. Infernal Dragon in 1:40.
I do think it's going to be very hard for Flash Wolves to actually finish off Prey. Prey is still a top-tier ADC. You catch him once, I don't think you catch him the second time. He can definitely reach his buttons. So I actually see Flash Wolves having to kite a little bit in terms of this team fight. Again, they can always disengage because of the Rylai's, because of the barrels, but they will have to play more of a fight that goes from front to back rather than all diving onto Prey.
We have a sizable gold lead to work with as well, 8,000 gold ahead of Kingzone. Flash Wolves will disengage, however. They will stop pushing for these turrets. They've got some good chip damage on the top lane inhibitor that has already been taken down fairly low. Mid lane has yet to be touched, and they still have the inner turret available to protect that lane. So Kingzone still have decent structures to defend with. Khan is going to be staying in the bottom lane to deal with these super minions. His teleport's coming back up shortly, but Baron's coming up in 10 seconds.
Kingzone is walking around with a lot of very hard to focus down members. You talked about the Mundo with Sadism, also the Zhonya's completed already. It's very possible that Kingzone could slip away a couple of members and then re-engage onto Flash Wolves. So I think Flash Wolves still have to play this very slow despite their gold advantage.
Maple's waiting in the wings though. He's in fog of war at the moment. Lots of pings coming out from Kingzone. Asking to disengage from that position. Sword Art almost caught out. Almost gets pulled back by Gorilla. Barrel doesn't connect. Good dodge from Kingzone to get away from the damage of Navi.
That was a crit coming out from the Stormrazers as well. So Khan in a little bit of a bad position. Probably not a big deal.
Pops his ultimate though, so he's going to be okay for now.
Oh, another barrel.
Big barrel coming out from Gangplank. Gonna get good damage to the BDD as well as Gorilla. Now Khan separated from his team.
Is he gonna get slowed by Maple? If the rake lands.
Jumps in, gets the slow, will get the red buff as well. Forces a flash out of Dr. Mundo. Now his ultimate is down and his summoner spell is down. However, Kingzone are making a beeline towards this Baron.
I don't think they can do it at this point. If they're hit by the Baron Pit, that gives a lot of room for the Shadow Assault to work for Maple. So I think Kingzone did go in for the vision, but they really don't have the power right now to set up here.
Flash Wolves have all the power in the world, a gold lead. Double buffs on Talon and a big scary dragon to fight this. Next dragon is going to be an Elder Drake too.
Oh, look at Hanabi.
They're going to try and start
this.
The
barrel.
Misses the Baron. Kingzone still in position. Maple's waiting the wings, finds Khan. Khan's ultimate is almost back off of cooldown, but not yet. That's a crucial ultimate for the front line. Gangplank starts to fight. Fusion tries to jump in, does pull back Peanut, forced to flash away. Good disengage from Kingzone. They burn crucial ultimates from the side of Flash Wolves.
Look at the bot lane. The minion wave is also pounding on the inhibitor right now. And Kingzone has to make a move.
And there's only one turret on top of the Nexus. They deal with the dragon first. Baron at half health. Kingzone trying to keep Flash Wolves occupied. Hanabi still setting up barrels. Can't get the damage. 4,000 hit points. They pull in Betty. Exhaust you. Sword Art says, let's go, boys!
Well, that's a double knockup from Rakan.
Double knockup, but they're dealing with Khan first. Has his ultimate available.
BDD coming in.
Looking to join the fight. They kill the main tank to start things. Stopwatch being burnt by the Flash Wolves, but slowly Kingzone turning on the fight. Prey still alive. And now he gets that kill onto Pike. Prey does take down the Gragas. Can rejoin the fight. BDD keeps the Flash Wolves occupied, and they are now forced to disengage. 3 on 3.
Flash Wolves can just run away. Look at the base. There's a teleport in the base.
They're trying to go for the win. Can he do it? Gameplays in the base. He's onto the turret. They're trying to stop Prey. They can't fight him. He's onto the Nexus now. No super minions left available. Prey can defend.
Hanabi does get the slow. He's going in for the kill.
He wants to get it. He got it.
He got it.
To you, Prey. You have to pray. Flash Wolves, they're going to be knocking onto the Nexus. They keep the spirits and the dreams alive of the LMS.
And Flash Wolves play that beautifully. The last fight, they knew they had the minion wave pushing. All they needed to do was to keep Kingzone in that Baron Pit. Beautiful stopwatches, dodging out on the Demonic Ascension coming out from BDD. BDD tried everything to get Kingzone back into the game, but could not find the burst damage in the end. And Hanabi wins his duel with Gorilla and finishes out the game.
Wins his duel with Gorilla, wins the duel with Prey as well.
Man.
On top of the Nexus, he could have disengaged, said, you know what, we want a big fight. That's 4 kills. We took down the final Nexus turret. Let's disengage and set up again.
The Stormrazor damage coming up huge for Hanabi in those final moments, taking out Prey with 1 hit. No one left to defend the tower. And LMS take down the LCK with a counter strategy that started from the back.
It also means the #1 seed from the LMS is undefeated after group stage. They're still not out of muddy waters just yet though, Clement. They still have to win the remainder of their matches to try and get the final seed. But the Flash Wolves stand strong, taking down Kingzone, taking down RNG, the 2 finalists from MSI.
And they held true to their promise. They are going to carry the LMS. Sure, you can look down at that region and say there's not a lot of good teams, but you can never count Flash Wolves out. Now 9-9 internationally against the Koreans.
And they've slayed them once again.
We see that sign again. Taiwanese brothers, Jayo.
Look at the damage as well though, Clement. Betty, 26,000. Even Hanabi picking up so much damage in the top lane.
And this was an outplay because of concepts. They understood how to counteract the funnel composition. You have the stronger side lane ganks. They profited off of that. You have the better late game because the enemy is running a bruiser composition. They had the gangplank for that. They abused the windows before that Xayah could get her extra items to take out the Baron. This was a conceptual win, outsmarting of the LCK.
It was a game of inches, however, because in a couple of situations when they couldn't pick off prey to start the fight, Kingzone looked like they could take down Flash Wolves in these fights, even in the fight around Baron.
Yeah.
Prey stayed alive. He was able to get those final few kills. BDD did everything to keep Flash Wolves occupied.
Yeah.
If Gangplank didn't have teleport, that could have been a one fight for Kingzone, potentially turning around the game as well.
BDD played magnificently this game. I think it was definitely the best performing player out of the entire Kingzone squad. But unfortunately, the 2 stopwatches in the final fight, taking away that demonic ascension, and I think Kingzone needs to go back to the drawing board. That game is going to open the floodgates. We've been talking about the Smite mids, and this is not the last time you're going to see it.
Because the final match of today, the 6th game, is going to be Kingzone taking on RNG. That's a big matchup, and the current score between the LPL and the LCK is tied. Yes, the LMS have some way to work with, but they have a chance still to make it straight into the finals. So send it back to the analyst desk to break down that match.
Totally unbiased casters there with the win at the end. Flash Wolves now twice taking the 2-0 from the top of the bracket. This is going to shake things up a lot.
But why can't they do it when it matters?
They're the best of one champions, all right? Champions are the best of ones. Let's not get to the next stage. Right here, that's when Flash Wolves can do it.
In front of all of the fans. I mean, you could hear the arena cheering them on at the end, but it was absolutely an amazing win. That said, though, we got to talk about where this began. You guys are super excited about the draft coming into this because as a non-LPL series of teams playing in this one, we didn't quite get the standard, just put the marksman in the bottom lane and play it out like that. No. We got 2 completely different things, Raz.
Yeah, you got the marksman, but of course it was going through the jungle. That's the thing about Prey. Prey actually brings in a lot of marksmen in the LCK, so of course this time around it's going to be funneling completely towards him. Double support, this one going towards the Braum as well, so you have the protection around it in team fights. 26 minutes into the game, he has 3 items. That is excellent for me, seeing the fact that they were willing to play it out. I thought it was a good looking for them.
Yeah, it's really important that when looking at the drafts about these teams, that there was a very clear roadmap about how this game was going to go in terms of the tug of war. Flash Wolves were, of course, going to win the early game. Their composition was all about the level 6, it was all about the bottom lane access. You had the Mordekaiser, you had the Rakan. Yep. This is a very similar combo to Mordekaiser Alistar. You have the hard engage, the kill pressure there, as well as the built-in sustain, not just with the double relics, but also with Rakan. You know, it's not Triumphant Roar, but it's his Q that he can throw out to keep them topped up, which helped so often in those big bot lane skirmishes. And then you have, you know, access into the bottom river through the Talon, who's going to have priority mid lane. Now, that said, if Flash Wolves didn't find a massive snowball off of kind of that big level 6, get the first dragon, rotate, start throwing everything in the mid lane, Kingzone were going to win this game. That composition, the funnel there for the Xayah, having access to the Mundo, the Swain, there were just so many beefy tanks in front of a player like Prey, and then you only had the Gangplank as kind of like your big last chance security blanket for Flash Wolves.
And that's the difference between, of course, the composition Kingzone ran today and what RNG ran yesterday, was that there was so much more protection for the damage coming through. Swain has incredible zone with the damage as well. The Braum has so much zoning power as well. So there's a lot of protection for Prey to just take it on back once he has the damage. Issue is, of course, early game was incredibly pushing. And then on top of that, there's a lot of flank powers from them. So we saw what Talon could do later on in the game, could be creative and find access towards the Xayah.
And Mundo, of course, I think is the fundamental key to these compositions. If you have a funnel composition and you don't have Mundo, I almost consider it a massive failure because, yes, he's that big, tanky frontline, but no one can really stop him. He just rocks into the backline, he does a lot of damage, he sits in the fights for a long time, and he causes havoc to unleash someone like Prey.
And while that's what we saw later in the game, there's still a lot to dissect through the early game to get us to that point. The fight at Rift Herald looked like things were going so good, but then that's when Kingzone started to find some momentum.
And this was scary because at this point, I think Flash Wolves just set this up incorrectly. It shouldn't have torn apart or fallen apart like this. Kingzone just executed better in this moment. And I'm like, uh-oh, you know, Flash Wolves, they have to snowball in a moment like this. Otherwise, their composition is going to be dead in the water unless Hanabi just goes massive on the gangplank. So at that point, I'm saying, okay, the tides have turned. Now we're going to hand the baton back to Kingzone, and they should be able to clear this one out.
Good challenge. And even though, of course, the AD carry died in that instance, Xayah went down, it was about and it was around
Mundo and Swain damage, the tankiness.
100%.
Pike.
Brahms ultimate, making it so much harder for them to follow the Xayah immediately afterwards. Still got a lot of damage off before she ended up dying. So these are key factors in these team fights that you have to focus on.
And certainly, while that did work out for them, at least at that Rift Herald, the next fight, I think, was what passed the baton back over to Flash Wolves, finding these kills that enabled them to get the Baron.
Yeah, this was the huge breaking point for Flash Wolves. If they hadn't found a snowball like that, making sure that Sword Art is getting these incredible engagements, like we keep saying, I don't think you get the gold snowball on Maple. He's not going to be as effective on the Talon. He's looking at champions like a Swain, like a Braum, like a Mundo, and you're going to see kind of the Doinby effect that Rogue Warriors ran into with KT, where suddenly you don't have kill pressure on anyone, because it's not an Ezreal, but it is a Xayah. She still has so much innate built protection in her kit.
And Prey really had to watch out in these later team fights because Sword Art was online. And I feel like Sword Art's consistency in every game we see from him, even in their bad games.
For 6 years!
So strong. And then, I mean, if you go on to the twitter.coms, I put down Sword Art greatest of all time. In terms of, and it may be pushing it, but in terms of like globally supports, if you're talking about Mako, if you're going down the line around Gorilla as well, you have to talk about Sword Art because we don't get to see him very often. Of course, sitting in the LMS for quite some time, but globally he comes out, performs so consistently.
And it's just one of those curses that no one's going to say your name because no one's paying attention to you. If Sword Art was in somewhere like the LCK, like the LPL, chances are that every single appearance that he gets, people will be like, yeah, Sword Art, one of the greatest supports to ever play the game. But it's not just kind of the map play, it's the intangibles that he brings. If you've never seen a live event, and if you've never seen or heard Flash Wolves, they are the loudest team in League of Legends. You can hear them above the stands, and when that battle howl roars out from them, like, they are unstoppable. They will win anything.
Yeah, and that's what we got to see in that last team fight when Flash Wolves were able to find that momentum in the Baron that enabled them to snowball and win the game at the very end. Sword Art tries to go in to stall this out, but it is just all chaos.
And my favorite portion of this is just the you have so much trust towards the individuals. Talon at the back half, because this was looking a little bit rough at the end of it, still finds the kill on towards Xayah. And then even though they get pushed out of this fight, it's still sick to see the fact that, you know what, even in the bad plays, even when you say Flash rolls in, not looking too good, they can still looking hot like this.
And it's not just, you know, Maple and Sword Art, these names that we're always repeating. It was Hanabi at the very end that made the TP play, that went 1v1 against Prey, that finished the game. And this is exactly what you want to see if you're an LMS or a Flash Wolves fan. We thought that the talent has left. The LPL alone has just scraped away 3 of the famous LMS junglers, but yet they keep coming back. They keep hitting harder.
Oh man, the 4-man charm into the following fight in front of Baron. It was a bit touch and go at the end, but the last second decision making to pull Kingzone apart.
And that's the thing. I'm just going to hit this one real hard because ultimately there's just so much happening in the skirmish. It's happening for way too damn long while the bottom lane minions are coming through. So this is a lose-lose situation for Kingzone. They're not going to be able to catch every single member coming out of Flash Wolves. So you get the TP coming through, and it's hard to fight this one out.
Yeah, it was the right call from Kingzone. They understood that they were between a rock and a hard place. They had to fight that, and they did so beautifully. But just, you know, you very rarely get to see 2 teams play well and one team just play better, and that was one of those situations. Kingzone executed on these team fights very well, but it was just that small inch that made the difference.
And with that, Flash Wolves will now find themselves 2-0 in the round robin. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break while we get ready for our next game. Don't go anywhere. Rift Rivals will be right back.